but expectations are important. If you're doing a huge thing, let people know this is what you expect and be very clear. I don't think it's
Yeah.
enough to say this is a big actual creative project. Dedicate all your time to this. Like I own
Right.
you. Like this is what you have to do. Like if you don't want this, then get out. Kind of deal.
Because
That's
that could
preposterous.
totally have the opposite effect. If you like
Oh yeah,
go way too heavy saying like, hey, this is going to be my life's work, so you better not mess this up. Who's going to want to work with that? They'd be like, no, shoot, get someone better than me.
exactly.
Like, I don't want to do that.
And it shows that you don't know what you're doing. Like if
Right.
you don't have a plan, if your thing is to dedicate all your time, and the thing is, there's lots of people out there. Like if you're not the one actively seeking to add or to get collaborators, you might be approached by someone who's looking to collaborate, and there's a good chance that they have this personality, this idea that I'm creating the world and come out and work for me and come rally and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
My first project was very much felt like that. Looking back on it now, where I was this person, people liked the stuff that I was creating, they wanted to work with me, we all created this thing, and it kind of went out there. um we were in college, which is the time to make things and mess up. But if you're looking for collaborators, be a plan. Know what you want from them. And if you don't know what you want, type something up. It's like you're the
Yeah.
person who has to sit down and edit those at the end of the day. You
Right.
need to give them the direction that you feel is appropriate
Yeah.
for the expectations are set.
And so much headache can be like avoided just by giving these directions before the actual project. I mean, like
Yes.
if you start laying all these like new things on these guys while they're filming, then like naturally they're just going to feel burnt out at some point or just not have the proper commitment or just the proper direction as to where they're going. So
Yeah.
just making it very clear, because like you said earlier, like when you brought your friend over just for like the school project or whatnot, you don't have to have everything on some industry professional level of
Mhm.
you're not every project has to be entirely professionally competent, if you will. Like it's
Yeah.
okay to do like those smaller things. It's just whenever you're inviting people to your project or your sphere of creators or whatnot, you want to make sure that all their involvement is laid down in front of them before it gets going, so that like that, and then that's just how that people will stick with it and go through
Mhm.
with it all the way. I know like different projects require different levels of commitment. I do a lot of stuff with like gameplay and whatnot, and there's a lot of projects in that where you literally show up, you talk funny while you play, and then you're good. And it's like people can do that for like 20 minutes. It's very little commitment value. You don't even need to schedule it. Sometimes it just kind of happens a lot of times. But then there's other projects like UHCs where it's going to require every individual
Mhm.
person to record their whole perspective and upload and add descriptions and add titles and use the intro and whatnot. And you start piling all this stuff. If they don't understand that's their level of commitment from the get-go, 9 times out of 10, they're not going to actually end up uploading their footage or whatnot.
Oh yeah.
And so it's just, different projects require different levels of commitment, but as long as you like set that as the boundaries beforehand, let them know, then they'll probably be more likely to go through with it. Or they'll tell you like, yo, I'm just not up for this. I don't have this kind of commitment. And you're like, that's fine. I'm glad I know now, instead of spending all these hours on this project, that I have to now find someone else to replace you like halfway through or whatnot.
Exactly.
And some like helpful tips with that, like even just if you're messaging people online, if you're networking online and trying to collaborate through maybe you're doing also gameplay stuff, or you're just looking for someone to voice a script or something like that. Your initial message, if you've never met this person at all and you just want to initially message them, being as professional as possible in the message can just go so long ways. I've gotten several messages before that have just been like, hey, do you want to join this like UHC I'm doing? Like it's on this day or whatnot. And a lot of times I'm just like, you're not giving me enough to work with. Like, I don't want to commit to something that I don't think is actually going to be very much worth either your time or my time, right? Now there's some other projects, like if people I know better, they might just shoot me a message and be like, hey, be here in 5 minutes. I'm there. Like, it just depends on like who you know or whatnot. But it's a very helpful skill to learn, to be able to professionally introduce yourself and your project both clearly and also directly, without like padding it up a lot. I've gotten a lot of messages that go the opposite way, where they attempt to be professional by adding all of this like fluffiness to it to make it feel like there's a lot more content than it's actually there. Your message doesn't necessarily have to be like a 5-paragraph invite or whatnot, right? You can very clearly and directly explain what the project is, and that is like the true level of professionalism. Hey there, you just watched a clip from my creative podcast. If you'd like to check out the full episode, you can support me over on Patreon, and if not, you can subscribe to check out more clips coming here soon.